So in 1916, the first primary, the poster for that is the one back here. It wasn't first in the nation, but it was first, and it was because of the great-grandfather of Sybil and Elizabeth Hamlin Carter.
You can add Glessner in there if you need to.
Yeah. It's been quite an interesting time the last week getting all of these together. I mean, it's really, it's quite an honor actually for me to be here with those that have made this happen from the beginning.
My first experience with the New Hampshire presidential primary was 1960, when I, in my north end of town in Portsmouth, where I live, distributed flyers as a 13-year-old for John F. Kennedy. And I have seen the evolution and had a role in every primary since then. And it has been a fascinating thing to watch. The benefit of the New Hampshire primary, and this is why I think we have fought to keep it first for so long, is that it gives candidates as well as voters an opportunity to get up close and personal with each other. You look eye to eye with the candidates, you look face to face. You can ask more questions when they're not at a podium with 2,000 people at some rally or 20,000 people at some rally someplace else. A time when candidates are going to have to come here in the next 10, 11, 12 weeks, depending on when he sets a date today in a few minutes, and talk with people instead of to or at people. They are going to have to talk with us. And I think that is the way that New Hampshire has contributed to save democracy in the United States. The primary is not about us. It's about our country and the future of democracy. And let's hope that we are able to maintain it and retain it for many years to come.
We all stand on other people's shoulders a lot in life, and in this state, from all the way back to the beginning. I mean, we would not be here if it wasn't for Jim and for the ancestors of those here that knew the ones that actually established this in the first place. And so that tradition, I don't know if the desk, we used it, this is the second time. Before that, we used the desk that was the only piece of furniture in the State House when it opened in 1819.
Well, I'll only observe that, there's a good question here. What state is the perfect state for the first in the nation primary? Diversity is certainly important. We have a lot of economic diversity in New Hampshire. We also have the influences of a population that has a certain amount of diversity. But most importantly is that opportunity to be able to get candidates out of their comfort zone and be able to have that dialogue while the rest of the nation is watching and seeing how they handle some of the questions that at times are not all that easy. And we've seen examples of that through the years where candidates actually stumble or candidates do very well, such as Ronald Reagan saying, "I paid for this microphone, Mr. Green," even though it was John Green, the Union leader of the Fawcett Daily Democrat at the time. And he got great attention in 1980, and probably the New Hampshire primary contributed to his election. We've seen that kind of attitude in our elections. And what would be better than a smaller state, which New Hampshire is, where geography is to the advantage of candidates who want to get to all parts of New Hampshire and be able to talk with people instead of from a podium, behind a camera, at or to us. And I think New Hampshire is as good as any for that. I do think that we have some balance in what both political parties have done with their system, their schedule after New Hampshire.